Welcome, 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 everybody. Good evening. Hang on just a second. I need to turn off a fan so I can, so you're not trying to listening to, oops. And I need to turn down the volume on my phone so it's not echoing back to me. Hello, good evening, everybody. This is So in Commons Wednesday night workshop live. I need Saturday Night Live music. Maybe I need a Saturday Night Live band behind me to say Wednesday night workshop. That's always what I think of, but welcome. And here at So in Common, of course, we make patchwork in the hoop of our embroidery machine from the beginning, the patchwork itself, all the way to the end with the finished quilting. You know what I was thinking today, guys? Actually, hang on here just a second. Let me bring up my comments. Hi, good evening, Ruth from Lake Stevens, Washington. How's it out there? I heard you guys are getting kind of hot out there. Like I heard over in Spokane, it was supposed to be 108 today or something. That's crazy for Washington. I know Spokane can get warm, but that's kind of crazy. So I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're staying cool and safe. So if you're just joining us, sign in, let us know where you're from. I love to see where you guys are from because Dave and I have lived in so many places that it's pretty close to certain I'm going to know where you're from. So go ahead and sign in and do that. But so, you know, we weren't here last week because last week I was judging quilts at one of the local county fairs. Can I just say, I saw some of the most beautiful quilts this year that I think I've ever seen in any of the quilt judging that I've ever done. It's 73 and overcast today. Like, well, that's not too bad for July. I mean, that's not too bad. 73, Ruth. That's not bad, right? That's not bad. Overcast, yeah, that's normal too. So sounds like you guys are having a typical day. Anyway, I don't think I've ever seen, in all the years I have judged quilts, I don't think I've ever seen any that were as lovely as the ones I saw this year. And we had a lot this year. It took me over 4 hours just to judge like the adults. It was crazy, but it was fun. And Dave got to spend the day at the fair, so he loved it. So anyway, you know, we use our hoop for doing our patchwork, right, folks? So I was thinking today, you know, when you go to like a party or a wedding and at the reception, all they have those photo booths and they have like the masks and the crowns and all the kind of crazy stuff you can put on. What if you got together with your quilting friends? Like maybe if you're part of a quilting guild, or if you just know a lot of quilters, or your local shop is going to have a party of some sort, and laid out all of your hoops for the photo booth, and then you could use them for frames, maybe put ribbons and stuff on them. Am I goofy? Tell me. Have I now gone off the deep end in regard to quilting hoops? But anyway, every time I do that, I think, oh gosh, that's kind of a good frame. So anyway, you tell me in the comments if you think I'm nuts or if you think that could be a fun party idea for quilters. All righty. So we'll let everybody kind of settle in. I am going to share some quilts, some fair pictures with you tonight, just a few, because I got a big video that I'm trying to put together for us, which has taken me longer than I thought, because this week has just been crazy, trying to catch up from last week, because really we were gone 2 days last week, and then there was something else on a third day, so I got really backed up. Hello, T. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing well. So good to have you with us tonight. So I do have one meme for us, but I have like some shares and some pictures and stuff, so I didn't want to, you know, hold us down with the meme, because tonight's kind of a big night. Okay, what I've got to show you tonight is kind of it's a big deal. It's a brand new something. Okay, great, brand new something. Alrighty, so are you ready to see the meme? I've got one meme. You know, I keep noticing that thing and I keep seeing myself in it. It's kind of freaking me out. I might have to move that. I always like to leave that there because that's our little YouTube award. And that's because of all of you guys. So I guess since it has to stay at my house, I want you guys to be able to see it, so you know what you did. You got us that award from YouTube, that little plaque. That we got that when we were 100,000 subscribers on the channel. They give it to us, but really that's only because of all of you guys. So give yourselves a hand once again. So, all right, let's go on. Let's do our first meme, or our only meme tonight, okay? So it says, quilting is the answer. It doesn't matter what the question is. And I couldn't agree more. You know, there's that song, love is the answer, right? So just take love, which is great, and put quilting in there. And it's right. And it doesn't matter what the question is at all. So I love that. And it doesn't matter how you quilt. If you quilt by hand, you quilt by sewing machine, or you quilt with your embroidery machine, just like we do here at Sew in Common. So I like that one. I wanted to share that one with you tonight. Kind of uplifting, I thought, a little bit. Alrighty, and now I have, I also have some other things to share. I need to bring that up real quick. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get faster at this stuff at some point, but I don't know when that will be. Hang on. Okay. I have to bring something up, and then I have to do that, and then I have to do this. It's so crazy, all the stuff you have to do. There it is. All right. So I have a picture to share. This is the picture. So our good friend T that is with us tonight, Tanita, she sent me, I think I showed it to you guys. She has been doing the string piecing pattern that is on the website. It's just this block. Now there's two different string piecing patterns. This is the regular angular one. There's also one out there that starts as a triangle and makes kind of a pyramid shape. But she's using this one. And I showed you the first two, I think, blocks she did. Well, she sent me this picture this week. T, I'm in love with this. You know, these are my colors. Oh my goodness. And I can definitely tell, I can see definitely some Tula in here. And there's some other folks I recognize too, but I definitely recognize the Tula fabric. Isn't that great? Now, I think this is what, 25 of them. So T, let us know. I know you're here tonight, dear. Let us know in the comments, how big do you intend to make this? So this is like 20 by 20 inches at this point, the ones in this picture. Oh, you're up to 32 blocks now. All right. Very good. So yeah, let us know how big you intend and keep sending us update photographs, because I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I love them. Give her a hand. A throw size is your plan. So like 54 by 70 roughly in that area. Ooh, girlfriend. You got a ways to go. No wonder you asked if I would make those blocks bigger. And I may, who knows, I may. Yes, 54%. Yeah, that's a great size throw too. That's going to be great. By wintertime, you're going to be all snuggled up on the sofa with that for sure. Popcorn night. I'm keeping at it. Yeah, you are keeping at it if you're at 32, and you've only sent me these a couple of times in a few weeks, so you're doing really great. In fact, T, I have to tell you that you kind of inspired what we're going to do tonight a little bit. So thank you for that. So that is from T. Let's remove that now. Now, guys, I don't normally, and let's give her the thank you for sharing your picture. Yay. Remember, guys, if you have photos of any of the projects you're working on, a single square, anything at all, send your pictures in to me at support@sewincommon.com. And I will show them, and we will be inspired and we'll love them, and you will inspire us to do all kinds of great things. So thank you so much for sharing, T. I really enjoyed that. And I do love those colors. You're going to love that, because I know, of course, those are your colors too, and you're going to really love it when it's done. Alrighty, and when you get to the end, you'll have to share with us like what your thoughts are on your finished quilting too. And if you have any questions, of course, contact me and we can chit chat a little bit and see if there's anything I can help you out with, of course. So we have one of our ladies who joins us typically every week who is not with us this evening. And she contacted me just a few days ago to let me know that she is having a little bit of surgery today, I believe. It's not the first time she's had to have this, but nobody likes to do surgery, whether it's an outpatient procedure, an inpatient procedure, or anything like that. But she asked for our prayers and wishes. And so I'm putting that out there because, guys, whether you're someone who prays or not, that's your thing. But the idea of sending out good thoughts and stuff can really, really, truly, we know this even scientifically, it helps people to heal, knowing that they are cared about. And so I'm putting that out there. And this is for our good friend, Gail. You all will know Gail from being with us, and she hopes to be back with us in a few weeks. I told her that if, even though she might not be able to participate, if she just wants to hop on and listen and, you know, read the comments and stuff, we'd love to have her if she's, you know, bored in her recovery at home. But we wish her all the very best. And I hope her surgery is going well today, of course. So, and she'll be in, of course, in our thoughts and prayers for sure. So that is for our good friend, Gail. All righty. So now I have some other pictures to show you guys. I told you that I wasn't going to do a lot of memes tonight because I have some other pictures to show you. So let me bring this one down. Whoops. Nope. Let me bring this one off and bring this one up. So I don't know if I've ever told any of you that are with us tonight that Dave, my husband, has a cousin who is a quilter extraordinaire. I'm not going to bring it up quite yet. She's a quilter extraordinaire. her name is Margaret. I know she's not watching, but hey, Margaret, if you ever see this. And she does art quilts. Now, I think she does like our typical patchwork as well, but she does portraiture art quilts. Some of these quilts have gone around the country in like really big exhibitions, been in really big museums. And I have photographs of them that I've taken. I couldn't find all of them, but I could find one of the astronauts that she did. And I thought I'd show it to you because I always love showing Margaret's work. Her work is incredible. I don't do this kind of art quilt, but what we're going to be talking about tonight and the project, the little quilt along we're going to be doing for the next few weeks as part of Wednesday night workshop. We won't be doing like the whole thing each Wednesday night, is I think, kind of an art quilt in and of itself. And so Margaret, I know she did one of President Jimmy Carter. I know she did one of the lady who was one of the mathematicians that helped in the space program. I'm really horrible. I can't remember her name. Lovely woman. She did that one. She did the president. She did one of Albert Einstein, which I would basically cut off my arm and give it away if she would give me that quilt, because I love it. And Einstein is kind of in its own way, was kind of a mentor to me when I was studying science and all in school and having a hard time with some of those subjects that weren't in my area of science. So she's done Einstein, and then she's done this one of one of the astronauts from the original missions, and it has gone around the country. So let me bring that one up and show it to you. I think it's Alan Shepard. I think this is Alan Shepard. This one right here. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah, from Gemini 7. I'm pretty sure that's what this one is. Isn't it incredible? You can see I get speechless. I couldn't do this. This is not my kind of quilting. I'm not good at it, but boy, isn't she amazing at it. And this is pretty good size too. When you see it, it's a pretty good size portraiture quilt. But look at all the depth she got. Look at all the shading she got in it. I love how she's used all these different fabrics in the sky for the sky. And it looks like they have maybe some metallic in it, maybe some stars and things in it. I just think the way she put it together was incredible. So I wanted to share that. If I can find my pictures on the other one, the one of the lady mathematician, I think is incredible as well. She's got her with her little cat eye glasses, I believe, if I'm remembering it right. It really is incredible. But I just love this one and wanted to show it to you because I like to brag on Margaret. She might not be my blood cousin, but she is my cousin by marriage, and I adore her. So I wanted to show that to you because you can be any kind of quilter, right? Quilts used to be very utilitarian. You made them to keep yourself warm at night, but now look at the art form they've turned into. I just love it. Okay, so I'm looking at a message. T, you're coming home from church meeting. So if you drop out, it's because you lost signal. I understand completely. You just drive safely, okay? Don't want you to get in any kind of accident. Wednesday night workshop is not worth you getting hurt. Alrighty, so I wanted to show that to you. Isn't it amazing? So truly, y'all, any of your quilts, even if they weren't Build-A-Quilts, if you've made a quilt in the past and you love it and you want to share it, send me those pictures. I would love to share them because truly, quilts are it. I don't care how they get made. Let's just share them because remember my motto, sewing life beautiful. That's a way to sew life beautiful for sure, but so is any other kind of quilting. So make sure and send those to me for sure. Alrighty, so we'll get into the meat of our live tonight because I have a brand new segment block to introduce you to. So I don't know if you guys caught the Sunday Quilt Lab video or not. If you haven't, go back and check it out because I introduced a brand new, what we're calling single segments. They're single segments like a half square triangle, a diamond and a square, all those kinds of things. that you can use with any of your other Build a Quilt segment pieces to make new quilts. But the ones that I am putting out first are this whole new series of mosaics. And so this was our flying geese unit that we introduced on Sunday. Yes, Ruth, I think that is who I'm talking about, dear. I do believe it was Catherine. Yes. Lovely woman and smart. Holy smokes, I wish I was that good at math. I mean, luckily to know the bones and the muscles and stuff like that, I didn't have to know too much math, but I love math and I got better at it as I got older. But when I was in school, it was a real challenge for me for a while, because back when I was in school, girls were told, one, you can't do math, and I was never given any encouragement. So I missed some. As long as you get your fundamentals, you'll be fine. But I missed those, and so it took me a while to go back. I went back on my own later and retook all the college math classes just so I would kind of not sound like an idiot when I was teaching and stuff like that. Anyway, so this is what we introduced on Sunday, the Mosaic Flying Geese unit. Do you guys like this? Do you guys like the mosaics? This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying it's a little more of an art quilt idea. You can still make patchwork with this, but you're basically making up your fabric by doing it in mosaics. I love this technique. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And all of those scraps I keep telling you to hold on to, this is why. But that's not what we're doing tonight. We are going to start tonight a 6-week, so from tonight through August 21st, we are going to start a 6-week mini quilt-along. You're going to make one block only. Okay. And in the end, you are going to end up with a 30 by 30 art wall quilt, a friendship wall quilt. So I am going to put out there into the universe that what you make in this quilt-along, pick a friend, a family member, someone who means something to you, and give that quilt away at the holidays or for a birthday or something like this. Because what are we using? We are making the brand new, never before seen Friendship Snowball unit. Do you like it? Please let me know if you like this. Please like this. But no, let me know what you think. So the free snowball pattern that's out on the website, and we did the Dirty Snowball Runner last year. The whole time I was doing it, I kept thinking, oh, what would this look like if we did it with mosaics? Because I've been working on these mosaic patterns for a while, and I finally got them where I liked them. This is it. I'm a little bit ahead of you. I got 3 of them made. We need to make 36 of them. I am not doing the full demo for you tonight on how this gets made because it's a rather long demo, but the pattern, which is available at the website for just $4.50. That's the segment singles are all priced like that. One, it's 5 by 5. You can use it with any other 5 by 5 Build a Quilt pattern segment piece or pattern. So like these that we introduced on Sunday, these are a 5-inch as well. So if I put these all around, I could make myself a complete mosaic star. Okay. Or I could do regular flying geese around it and make a star. And this was just the mosaic in the center. These are so versatile. And I go over a lot of that in the video that belongs to the pattern. So there is also a full demonstration video for this in the pattern. Now, I did demonstrate this on Sunday because this goes rather quickly, but this one is a little bit longer because with this one, you can do it 2 ways. You can do it like we normally do it with just on our stabilizer, the overlay stitching, and then you put them together and then you do your final quilting if you want to. However, a bunch of you all have been begging me for almost a year now to do something that is more quilt as you go. So I did that. With this one, you can make it, like I said, just on the stabilizer, or you can make it on a bed of batting. You can barely tell the difference, but this is puffier, a little bit puffier, and a little bit, and it still remains really nice and soft. Okay. So the stitching overlay design, like we used on this one to hold everything down, also will act as your quilting. However, I have you cut your batting so that it's not ever going to be in your seam allowance. So it's not going to add any bulk. It's not going to be anything like that. So let me, oh, here we go. So in the pattern, it tells you you're going to need 2 squares per unit in a certain size that you're going to cut on the diagonal. Those are going to end up being your corners. Now I used white because when you use lots of color in that mosaic, white really allows that color to pop out. Now I know some of you don't care for white backgrounds. That's okay. In the video, I tell you 3 or 4 different ways that you can do this fabric. This is totally scrappy from my scrap bin, but you can use curated collection from one of your favorite designers. T, you can use Tula Pink, and I've done that in here. In fact, you see my little bunny right there? That's from Tula Pink's Alice in Wonderland collection. And I talk about that in the video as well, but let's talk about it now. If you have fabrics that have very specific designs in them, so on this one, there's the little Mad Hatter hat, there's the teacup right there. You can cut around them and really place them in strategic ways. So that quilt could end up being kind of an I Spy quilt for a kid. I love that idea. Now you might want to cut them a little larger so that little kids could see them better, but you could certainly do that. If you do a curated color set, then from a collection, then I tell you like how to pick those fabrics. And from that collection, I tell you what to choose to use for your corners, which becomes your background fabric. So you can do that as well. All of that is in the video, the demo video for how to create this block in the pattern. There's a link, you go to it, and it's a private video, so it can only be seen if you've got that link. And here's the new thing. Every pattern that I put out from now on, and I started it with our flying geese units, every pattern from now on will always have a link to a how to create video attached to it that is only available to go with the pattern. I might show you how to do the block and stuff in a Quilt Lab video or here on Wednesday night workshop. But sometimes I know it's hard to go back to a video like this and try to go through and find the parts you want. So from now on, every pattern starting with the flying geese unit is going to have its own how to create video attached to it. I hope that's helpful. Do you guys like that idea? Please let me know what you think about that. It's a lot of extra, but I think it really adds value to your patterns and it really saves you time. I know as just a consumer of patterns, I would want that link so I could just go to the demo. It's like having your own little mini class with the pattern. Okay. And then you don't have to hear me, prattle on about the fair and stuff like that. Okay. So this is how we're going to do this. So get out your scraps because the challenge is we're going to do it for 6 weeks. At the end of 6 weeks, we'll have 30 blocks and we'll talk about finished quilting and all of that. If you do it with the batting in it, you won't need to do any finished quilting. All you'll need to do is maybe stitch through a couple of your rows or something to stitch on your backing fabric and you'll be done. Okay. So those of you that have wanted something that is kind of quilt as you go, that's kind of what this is. So you have 2 options. And so in the file set for this design, in the folder, there are 2 folders. One says with border, one says without border. And what that means is that always with Build a Quilt, I try to make that so the segment pieces are done in a 5x7 hoop for you guys. That way, pretty much anybody can then do them because 5x7 hoop is pretty much the standard anymore. Sorry guys, it's getting a little warm in here. is standard. So in a 5x7 hoop, the block on its own can be made perfectly. But do you see how here and here and here and here, that fabric is the fabric from the mosaic? Okay, so when you have your border box here, typically we would only put fabric up to that edge. But you need to make sure and put a little bit of fabric beyond that edge so you have something in your seam allowance. Let me grab, I did this with one of the flying geese units so I could show it to you guys. Where is it? Here it is. See this flying geese unit, how I only put the fabric right here on the edges? If I would go to sew that together, I would have nothing in my seam allowance. And as soon as I wash that away, boom, gone, and I'd be in trouble. So in the pattern, the one that says with border comes with an extra border line that goes all the way around to tell you that you want to get some fabric into here when you place it. And I walk you through it in the demo, how to place that fabric and all of that. That's if you have a hoop bigger than 5x7. So you guys know I use my 6x6 and this with the border worked just fine. But if you only have a 5x7 hoop, you have to draw those lines in so that you know that distance and you just have the pattern that has the regular border. I go over all of that with you, but that's why you have two file folders in there, one that says with border and one that says without. It's all about giving you that visual line so you know where to put that fabric. It won't matter with your white corners or with your corner fabric because I always tell you to cut pieces big enough to cover all of that. Is that clear as mud for everybody? Is that clear, guys? All right, let me look over here at something. Ooh, 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 little smiley with, oh, I'm glad you guys think this is a cool idea. I'm good. Oh, T, you're done with it? Excellent. I love Scrappy too. Can I just be honest? To me, a Scrappy quilt is the most beautiful quilt in the world. Probably for me, really the reason is because it's so full of color. Like when this is done, I'm going to have a really hard time giving it away, but I've already chosen the person I'm going to give it to. So that's done. I'll make one for myself at another time. Like T, I might make myself a throw blanket out of them because these are 5x5 too. Okay. So T, you could maybe do yourself another one and do it with this. That would be cool too. Think of all that Tula scraps in there. Oh, that would be so great. Or can you imagine this done with Lori Holt? I know a bunch of you love Lori Holt like I do too. Her fabric would be great in this if you wanted to do like a curated collection of fabrics, like any Lori Holt scraps you have, any Tula Pink, because the designers always create their collections so they can kind of be mixed and matched. Those two do. So you'll love that. So let's see. What else do I want to tell you about this? Okay, so your video is attached, and plus you get all the other general information that you get in our patterns. So you guys, while I'm looking for this, you know, Dave is out to dinner tonight with colleagues. They went to a nice fancy restaurant. I had just a sandwich. Kind of crushed, actually. All right, so you're going to get your friendship cut list. And see right down here, that's going to give you your link so that you can go to the information. And here, again, just like with the Flying Geese unit, I give you kind of looks like a brain. I give you a template for the quilting. You don't need it for this project, but if you ever want to use that quilting on its own, then you have a placement template. I wanted to make sure so you can kind of use it for more than one thing. I think that's only fair to allow you to be able to do more than one thing with it. So that's your friendship quilt stuff, your information, your pattern information. So if you make 6 a week, then on that last week, we'll be done. Okay. This is a simple project. Now, every week we won't be working on this, but we'll kind of do a check-in. Where are you? Did you get your 6 done? Are you a little behind? Do you need to catch up? It's not a race. You don't have to be done. But sometimes, having a nice little quilt along and a challenge works out to be fun to do it together. And I would love for you all to send me pictures every week of whatever you've done. Maybe you've only chosen your scraps, fabrics. Take a picture and send them to me. I mean, how inspirational is that? But T, I will tell you, this little quilt along was inspired by what you're doing with the scrap piecing block that's out on the website. So thank you, dear, for that. Because I was having a little bit of a little brain fog, and I saw that and I thought, oh, we could do that now with the Mosaic Friendship Square for sure. All righty. Oh, I just said something and I wanted to, let's see if it's on my list here. Mosaic 30 by 30, July 24th through August 21st. I told you about Margaret. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. I found 2 buckets of fat quarters today here in the studio. Don't know where they came from. Don't know how long I've had them. Do you guys ever do that? I was literally sitting here and I was thinking about something and I looked across the room and there are 2 buckets sitting there and I'm thinking, where did those come from? I have no idea where they came from, but you better believe I'm going to go through them and find out what fabric I've been missing. I don't know where they came from. I'm sure they've been there since I kind of remodeled this studio space. And something was probably sitting on them until recently, and I probably moved it and I went, oh, more fabric, yay! And I didn't have to spend anything for it. Yeah, that's how that works. So I've got 3 of them made now. And I've got 1 bucket of fabric that I'm working on because small pieces go a long way. From 1 5x5 square, you can make a ton. You have a fabric store in your sewing room, Rose. That's awesome. I love that. Don't you? I think that's great. Good for you. Well, it wasn't last week because we weren't here. The week before, I showed that one meme of the beautiful closet with all the shelves full of fabric. Ooh, that's what I have in fact, if you go behind that door, there's a big closet there. But it ends up being kind of like the storage all for Christmas presents and all of my fabric that I have on the bolt and everything. Eventually I'll get it redone and it'll be beautiful, but for now it is what it is. The fabric fairy, yes, team, maybe the fabric fairy brought me fabric because I was such a good little girl this week. That could be for sure. Okay, moving on. So that's the pattern. You can get your pattern. Sorry, my throat's kind of going. You can get your pattern over at the website. Okay. However, don't head over there yet because remember, we've got the question of the week coming and we're not going to have 1 winner this week. We're going to have 2 winners this week. So whoever gets the random thing for the quest for answering the question of the week in a little bit, you will get this pattern sent to you for free. Okay. So, and we're going to pick 2 winners tonight. We'll spin the wheel twice tonight. Please do not let me forget. Almost every week I end up almost forgetting that. All righty. Would you guys like to look? Hi, Norma. Hi, Norma. Thank you for joining us tonight. So glad to have you with us. Thank you. How did you find out about us? Were you just searching YouTube and you found us live and you thought, what's that crazy woman talking about? Did someone tell you about us? I'm so glad you're with us. Enjoy, for sure. Do you quilt? Are you a quilter? I'm assuming you're a quilter. Do you quilt with your embroidery machine? Because that's what we're all about, quilting with your embroidery machine. So you can tell us as much searching YouTube. That's great. I'm glad you found us searching YouTube. That's wonderful. So welcome. I'm always thrilled to have new people with us, along with all the folks that are with us almost every week. You guys just add joy to my life. Truly, you add great joy to my life. When I'm always done at the end of Wednesday night, I feel like I'm on a little floating cloud because I've spent this hour with all of you. So Dave always says, gosh, you're in a good mood. And I'm like, yeah, I just spent an hour with my quilting friends. Why wouldn't I be in a good mood? Yes, I quilt mostly piecing. So you're a topper, not a finisher. Is that right? That's okay too. That's totally cool. Hi, T. Oh, and you know T. Oh, well, it's good to have you, Norma. Everybody say hi to Norma. All righty. So are you guys ready to see some fair quilts? Now, remember these pictures I took with my phone. So they're not professional or anything like that. But I have a few of them to show you tonight. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, forgot to do the first thing. I always forget. Okay, there's that. I've got to like bring it up and look at it and then can share it on the screen. It shows up to share. I don't know what that's about. I do finish, but usually straight stitch. That's cool, Norma. You know, straight stitching really is, Norma. I've been quilting for over 55 years. Straight stitch is the hardest thing to do because if you don't keep it pretty doggone straight, you know, it looks a little wonky out there and people go, So I think that's great that you do straight stitch. Let me bring up those pictures now and we'll share. Okay, so here is our first one. This is part of a quilt. This one was a first place winner. It was not the grand prize winner, but it was a first place winner. And this shows you a good deal of it. This is a quilt that was done with kind of prairie fabrics. If you know Kansas Troubles, she's got some of that in here. And it's a great sampler quilt. Look at all the different blocks on this quilt. Oh, and this quilt was in the category for people who did their own piecing, did their own top, either by machine, by hand, or this year I got them to do by embroidery machine. I was so glad when they accepted that into the categories this year. But this one was done by sewing machine, but the quilting itself was done by a long armor. And you can kind of see down in here, she was a good long armor. I was judging for this one, I was judging the piecing itself because I don't judge the long armors because they're not the ones putting the quilt into the competition. But she did a really nice job on her piecing, I have to tell you. And it just makes me think of some of the quilts that my grandmother would have made with kind of those older prairie type fabrics and all. So I really liked this one a lot. But that one won a first place. Let's see. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to show you. Sorry, I went the wrong way. There we go. Now, this quilt, you can see my purse sitting there and my hat. We are in a barn in the country, folks, at the fairground. Nothing fancy about this. And trust me, that barn was hot. It was a beautiful day outside. But when you get into a barn area with the humidity and all, whew, I was sweating. It was like pouring down my face by the time we were done. But this quilt is a 16 block friendship quilt that was done by a friendship circle. So this is the first place winner for the friendship quilts. Friendship quilts had to be made by a group, and the quilting and the overall design could be done by one person. And so the woman who turned this in for the competition was the one that came up with all of this border fabric. She came up with how to do the sashing. However, they have to, for these quilts, they have to write a little paragraph to say, like, how was this? How did you come up with this? So there were 16 blocks, 16 ladies, each chose their own block. They just had to be a star. And each lady, they kind of came up with a color palette, but each lady chose her own fabrics and everything. They made their blocks and then they turned it in. And the lady that turned it in and did the long arming for it and added that border and everything, she put it all together and that was the winner. Isn't it beautiful? I think it's really pretty. I think she did a nice job of choosing that border fabric because it really ends up going for a group that did not compare fabrics with one another. I thought they did a really good job of coming up with fabrics that just blended exceptionally well. And this was really well pieced, and the quilting on it was beautiful as well. Alrighty, so that was the winner, the first place winner for the friendship quilt category. Now, this one was the first place winner for going to our country fair tomorrow. Oh, Rose, have a good time. I love the country fairs so much. I still have some more to do this year. Some more judging to do. I love country fairs. County fairs. I love them. In fact, our specific one is at 2 weeks from now. And so I know Dave and I will spend a couple nights out there for sure. But this one is a quilt that is pieced by the owner and quilted by the owner, but had to use a panel. So the stars she put together on her own. She found fabric that went with these lovely little kitty cats. The cats are all from a pattern that she cut apart. Then she framed them all with border fabric. And then she added this lovely fabric on the outside that just blends with it so well. Didn't she do an exceptional job getting those colors all to come together? I really thought so. But really, I wish I could show you closer, but look at that beautiful quilting. And can I tell you, this quilting was so stunning. I mean, truly stunning. Her measurements so that everything was placed and sized was perfect throughout. It just, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I'm allergic to cats. Not that I don't like them. I'm just allergic to them. Thanks to my kid brother who brought home a baby cat on his 5th birthday that they found by the railroad track. And that cat used to like to come into my bed at night, crawl under my covers, and sleep on top of my feet. And somehow I got an allergy to him. And so I've been, my eyes water the whole bit when I'm around a poor kitty. But I just thought she did a beautiful job on this one. So that was a first place winner for panel quilts that were pieced and quilted all by the same person. Okay, so we're here towards the end. This quilt, see this shy little lady back here? She is the one that created this quilt, pieced it, quilted it, the whole 9 yards. And this took her 2 years to make. Can you imagine? However, she did tell me that the fabric was chosen by her husband. Her husband likes these idea of the big sweeping medallion kind of quilts. And so he chose the fabric, and she made this quilt. It took her 2 years to make it for him. She entered. Now you can kind of see her quilting down in here. And the nice thing about her quilting was that when she was in this darker fabric, her quilting designs got a little bit smaller. They were really well proportioned for these areas. But when she was in these big sweeping vast areas of lighter color, she used the same design, but she made it bigger. So it really was noticeable then. So the quilting didn't take away from all of this piecing, but when there was no real intricate piecing, she really let the quilting shine. And this was our grand prize winner this year at the fair. She won first in her category, and she won first overall best in show grand prize. And isn't it beautiful? I just love it. I told her, if this quilt isn't hanging around by the end of the night, don't come to my house looking for it. Wink, wink, because I could have taken this one home. Because you guys know she did it in my colors too. I just love it. But isn't that beautiful? I adored it. Now, I think I have one more here. I have a couple more. This quilt was not a winner. Oh, I think it got a second place. I know. Can you imagine? That's how hard it was for me to choose, you guys, on some of these categories. There were so many quilts and they were so beautiful. But this one got down to the fact that the quilting just wasn't as extraordinary as some of the other quilting. Because the piecing sure was. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Really gorgeous. But I think that was the second overall placed quilt. And then this one, this is our last one. There's a category for quilted items, your runners, your placemats, things like that. We even have a category where people do just squares, pieced squares. So on those, I get really picky about their piecing. Although, as you can kind of see over here, this tag with the writing, I write a note of encouragement and maybe some supportive idea on every single piece that I look at. So now you know why it took me all day too, because that's a lot of writing I got to do. But I thought this little runner was just adorable. One, the little bells are little embellishments, so they actually jingle. And I thought for a county fair, how cute to put little moo cows on there. I just thought it was so cute. I loved it. I loved it. You can see all the ribbons sitting out over here. We hadn't given them out yet, but I thought that was super cute and wanted to share it with you. I love how she did all the little patches in green along the bottom. She did the blues and whites for the sky and 3 little happy moo cows. I just loved it. I would hang that in my hallway. I've got a little rod that's just about that length. I could see something like that. When you live in the country, you know, one of my grandfathers was a dairy farmer. One of them was a cattle rancher. So cows have been a big part of my life and I love them. So I really thought that was cute. All righty. So that is, it's kind of a little washed out here. I hope you guys can see that. Okay. All right. We're going to remove that. That is our pictures from the fair so far. All righty, guys. So are you ready now? We've got, about 10 minutes or so left. Any questions about any of those quilts? Any thoughts on any of them? You can certainly let us know in the comments. Yes, T, I'm not sure which one you were talking about, but they were all gorgeous, weren't they? Just so incredible. Very, very talented ladies. And they're not just from the one county. They can, you can kind of enter in any county fair. And so these ladies were all in around maybe 100-mile area or so who brought these. And the single squares that I done they're 6-inch categories and 12-inch categories. And one woman had done a 6-inch one and a 12-inch one in the same fabrics. And they were meant to go together into a bigger quilt. And so they complemented each other. Really, really pretty. One got a first, one got a second. Give her first for everything. There were so many to choose from. All right. Are you guys ready for the question of the week? Are you ready? All right. So we've been kind of talking about the idea of art quilts. Now, I think any quilt is an art quilt, but you know what I mean by art quilt. Something that is portraiture or our beautiful mosaic. Something that isn't just our normal, beautiful patchwork in and of itself. So this week's question, if I can find it, I know I put it on here. Yep. This week's question, have you ever made an art quilt? Anything that you would consider an art quilt? Let us know. Let us know what it is. Go ahead and put your answers in, and we'll go for about 5 minutes, and then we will do the spinny thing over here, and we'll pick 2 winners for a free copy of this week's Mosaic friendship square. Okay, so let's see. Hello, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, but it looks like we have a new person with us. Hello, nice for you to be here. So have you ever made an art quilt? Anything you would consider an art quilt? To be honest, like the one I showed you from Margaret, I've never even considered it. I have made something kind of like an art quilt. Before I developed Build a Quilt, I made one that was kind of a mosaic idea, but I gave it away. Somebody really liked it, so I gave it to him. It was a long time ago, like 30 years ago or something. All righty. Okay, so Norma says you have never made an art quilt, Norma. I don't think a lot of us have, but I'd like to know some folks that have, if you have, because I would love to see your pictures. Ruth, not something I would do. They are very pretty, but I don't think I have the patience for it. Oh, Ruth, don't you know it? Oh, I'm so there with you. That quilt I showed of Margaret's of Alan Shepard. I can't draw to save my life. I flunked stick figures in grade school. I mean, seriously, I'm not good. I'm good at, I can do like geometric stuff with the digitizing and all that. And I have a creative bent, but drawing, I can't. And so it makes me want to hyperventilate a little bit to think about doing like a portraiture quilt. I even took a class once and I dropped out because it just made me so anxious because they were going over, oh, your angles and your shading and your, it was too much for me. You made a nursery rhyme baby quilt. Oh, Rose, please, if you have a picture, send it to me. I would love to see that. Nursery rhymes, how cool. I think that's awesome. I'd love to see that and show that to the group. If you have a picture, send it to me over at support@sewuncommon.com, okay? And I'll show it because I think that sounds amazing. I love nursery rhymes. I might be old these days, but I love nursery rhymes still to this day. My mother had a 2-volume set of the original Grimm's fairy tales. So the version of Cinderella that I love ain't Disney. That's all I can tell you. But she and my aunts used to read me those every night, and they're probably not the best stories for kids. I know now that Grimm's fairy tales were not written for children. They were written for adults, and you can tell when you read them. But I loved them growing up. I still have those books. When I left home to go to college, I took them with me. I told Mom, I'm stealing your nursery rhyme book. She's like, go ahead. You're the only one that liked it. You're a strange child. And she was right. All righty. Anybody else ever attempt? Have you ever attempted to make an art quilt? If not, you're going to do one now if you do the Quilt-along, right? This is so simple, guys. The one cool thing about mosaics is there's no right or wrong, literally no right or wrong. There are a few things to remember, like you want to cut rounded edges because then it's the overlay stitching goes on more smoothly. But even if you don't, you forget, like I did on one of these, I even make a mistake in the video. Not a mistake, it's something that happened, and I tell you why, and I show you how I fix it right in the video. Not everything I do is ever perfect, but you can't tell me in either one of those where the mistake is. I don't even know which one it is anymore. It's this one has the mistake in it, or the oops in it. And I don't even remember where it is. I'd have to go back and look through it myself. Yeah, I have no idea. So you can't tell. All righty. I'll see if I have a picture and we'll send it. Thank you, Rose. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. Should I spin the wheel? We got about 5 minutes. So let's pick our winners and then we will sign off for the night. It's been such a great evening to have you all with me, with Dave going out to have a lovely, yummy dinner. No, he works so hard, and they have Dave is a director level, and then there's a senior director above him, and then there's the head of the company. It's the head of the company who's here tonight. The head of not the whole company. It's the head of his division of the pharmaceutical company. I don't know if Dave is a biochemist, and he works nowadays in quality assurance to make sure the medications they make for patients with hemophilia are good, right? His line is, we want to make sure the patients get the good stuff. And so he works very hard at that. Their boss from Australia is here. So they're going out for dinner, and I'm spinning the wheel over here, and I'm not looking because you guys know it gives me seasickness to do it. I'm so seasick. All right, here's our first winner. Our first winner is Tanita. Congratulations, T. You won a free copy of the design. Send me an email at support@sewuncommon.com. In the title line, just say, Wednesday night workshop winner or something like that in the body. And I will send these out tomorrow, the copies, but you won. And now we're going to spin again, spin again, spin again, spin again. For our second winner is Rosemary Gray. Congratulations, Rose. You're our second winner. Tia and Rose tonight. Yay. Congratulations, ladies. Send me those emails over at support at Sew in Common, and I will send you out your free copy of the brand new Mosaic Friendship Square in the morning, okay? Because when I'm done tonight, I've got to go do laundry. So go ahead and send me those emails and I'll get those to you tomorrow. Congratulations to the winners. If you did not win tonight, you have a chance of winning something every Wednesday night because we do a question of the week and a giveaway every Wednesday night. But if you want to take part in the quilt along with us, just go to the website, sewincommon.com, and the new pattern is there. It's $4.50. Okay, that's all it is, and you can be a part. That's the only thing you have to buy, because if you've already got scrap fabric and a little bit of batting, the batting, if you're going to use the batting angle of this, if you've got batting scraps that can be cut to 5 by 5, you're going to be in good shape. You won't even need to buy batting. So hope that works for everybody. Let's take a look at our last little bit. Yay. Okay. You're very welcome, Rose. Thank you. You're welcome too, T. I was going to buy regardless. Well, you don't have to now. Congratulations, ladies. Thank you, Norma. So again, remember, every Wednesday, there's a chance I just spin it and whatever the magic arrows drop on wins. And so your chances are the same as everybody else's every Wednesday night. All right, folks. So it has been wonderful to be with you all, and we're 2 minutes early, so I'm getting you out here by 7 o'clock. Those of you that want to run over to that other event that goes on Wednesday nights, I might check in there too, since Dave's not home tonight, while I'm doing laundry, and see if there's any new fabric I want to buy. Oh, and the one thing, after the fair, I told you we were going to a fabric shop. We did go, but I just got like the fabric I needed for binding. That's all I ended up getting, because later in September, I'm going to go over there and spend a lot of money. I made an order actually while I was there for fabric for build a quilt samples coming up for the rest of the year and the new year. So that won't happen until September. So I just got binding fabric. So I didn't have a big haul to show you. So sad. All righty, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you need to contact me for any reason, support at sewincommon.com as always. And remember, we're here again Sunday for the last Quilt Lab of July, which means the week after, next week, will be our brand new August Quilt Lab. If you are a Quilt Lab subscriber, I sent out emails to you all today with a couple of questions, and they're dated. Like you got a time frame to answer them for me. They're about your second quarter free pattern and and your questions for the end of the month Q&A video. So please read those emails and get back to me as soon as you can. Until next time, everybody, have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay cool in this heat if you're in one of the places that's really hot. And as always, go sew life beautiful. Bye for now.